This is The Big Breakdown, a long look back at some of the biggest stories we're covering for you at the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today. This is Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski. Here now, Tony Brueski.
In almost every murder trial, defense attorneys share one golden rule: keep your client off the stand. The risks outweigh the rewards. Cross-examination can shred even the most confident defendant, and jurors often judge demeanor as much as words. But Donna Adelson isn't following the rule book even before this trial officially began. Word leaked that she intends to testify. That announcement alone tells you something about her mindset, because typically the decision to put a defendant on the stand comes mid-trial after seeing how the evidence lands, after gauging the jury. But Donna, well, she's signaling from the jump that she wants her moment. And why? Maybe it's overconfidence. Maybe it's control. Maybe it's the same pattern we saw in the emails. Donna calling the shots no matter what her attorneys advise. But there's danger there. The state isn't coming in empty-handed. They're right there. They've got her airport arrest warrant with a one-way ticket to Vietnam, a country with no U.S. extradition. They've got recorded calls with Charlie after his conviction that prosecutors say reek of consciousness of guilt. And they've got the narrative that every other conspirator is already convicted, leaving Donna as the last piece of the puzzle. So when she takes the stand, it won't be a grandmother defending herself. It will be the alleged matriarch of a murder plot, trying to explain away the unexplainable. And jurors won't be listening to her answers. They'll be reading her tone, her confidence, her ability to connect. And they don't like what they see. Her testimony could seal her fate. That's why this part of the case may be the riskiest yet, because once Donna speaks, there's no taking it back, and jurors will remember every word. Bob is a defense attorney who's joining us right now, host of the podcast Defense Diaries. Bob, how dangerous is this move? And what does it tell you about Donna Adelson's mindset that she's insisting on testifying against everyone's advice?
That's a really, really hard question to answer because of exactly what you just said. The appeal being out there, I mean, it's going to be deny, deny, deny. I don't know how much, like, Georgia's in that tough position where she's got to put Charlie on as a state's witness. And again, she's stuck direct examining. I think that Judge Everett will give her some leeway in terms of her questioning and what she can ask. But, you know, she's in that position where she's trying to coax a bad answer out of a witness that she's called, you know, which is very unusual. You know, typically your witnesses that you're calling in your case in chief are giving you evidence that helps you. And Charlie, she knows, is getting called to the stand is not going to be helpful.
Yeah.
You know, so she's really got to try to trap him into giving him some, you know, to giving her some bad answers for Charlie and for his mother that really help her case. And it's tricky. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the work that Georgia has to do in order to try to kind of walk through the minefield of getting these convictions on these cases is a sight to behold, really, because when you think about it, you know, you're bringing both kids up. You've got Charlie and Wendy both testifying. Both are not going to throw mom under the bus. So you're having to try to form questions that you think are going to elicit an answer that there's no way to answer it other than to throw Donna under the bus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or you're having him answer a question wherein if he denies it based on everything else the jury has heard, the jury then just realizes he's lying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's tricky, man. It's really tricky.
I mean, the jury, obviously there's everything that's going to weigh different ways on a jury as they go into a trial. In this particular scenario, and other scenarios where it's kind of a domino effect, how damaging is that to the defendant this round? Obviously, this one's Donna Adelson. We're 4 people into this now. The fact that the hitman, Megbonna, Charlie, all convicted, all in prison, and now Donna is here being tried. The jury's going to know that it's basically been all these have been taken out, saying, yeah, you all have been involved. That's going to, I think, put a little weight, I would think, on that jury, and maybe even a little preconceived notion that Donna might have something to hide here.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. It's not optimal.
No.
If you're a defendant that they've tried 4 other people that they're claiming that, you were in party with in terms of a conspiracy to commit murder, it's like, it's not optimal. It like no defense attorney is going to say, yeah, I like no problem. I don't care that they've tried the other 4 people that were involved, or 3 plus 1 pled out and got 19 years as the driver. You know, it's like, and it's all coming out. Like it's like every part of that story, like there is no trying Donna without all of the entire story coming out. So that hope that maybe, other bad acts, the 404B evidence isn't going to come in. Not the case. It's all coming in, and they're going to hear the whole damn story. And it's as simple for Georgia as saying she's that other piece of the puzzle. So like you have this entire puzzle of the conspiracy, and here it is, and I've built it up for you. You see that big gaping hole right there? I'm going to stick this piece right in, and that piece is Donna. She's that part. She's the money. Yeah, she's where the cash came from.
Her name's on the checks.
She's the one who wanted it. Yeah.
So it's a kind of a big one to get around. Okay, we were talking earlier, obviously it's usually a last resort that your client, if they're the defendant, is going to go and testify. It's usually decided into the trial. It's not usually a big announcement made prior to the trial actually beginning. It happened before the trial actually began. They started coming out, Donna's going to testify. Yep. What the hell is going on over there?
I mean, when you look at what the evidence they have against Donna and the consciousness of guilt stuff that they have, which is obviously her buying it to, like, after Charlie's convicted, her son, and she buys a one-way ticket with Harvey to Vietnam, which just so happens to be a country where they don't have extradition to the United States.
Just so happens.
And it just so happens. And you've got this situation where you've got all of these recorded phone calls between Charlie and Donna after he's convicted that are very damning. You have those consciousness of guilt pieces of evidence that are coming in. You kind of have to get her up on the stand to testify and explain, well, no, I just, like, Harvey and I love Vietnam. Honestly, no one told us that we couldn't leave the country. It's like my child had just been convicted. I was devastated. I needed to go to my happy place, and that happy place so like she's got to get up there to try to talk this shit away. Yeah. Because frankly, the consciousness of guilt evidence is some of the most powerful evidence they have, because a lot of the other evidence is basically you've got convicted felons that are testifying with Katie and Luis, and they're murderers. Yeah, convicted murderers, and Katie lied on the stand during her own trial. So they have warts. They're not the perfect witnesses, even though they come off as pretty credible, like they're owning it at this point, but still, it's like, I think that the way that the defense feels is that Donna's got to get up there and explain herself.
Do you think this was a decision made by her defense attorneys, or was this a Donna standing up going, well, I'll just go tell? I mean, I can see it being a Donna choice, where it's just a Donna, like a Donna, I can handle this. I'm going to do it because that's how she's run her life.
100% a Donna choice, because any decent defense attorney is going to be saying, and ultimately, like, just understand this. It's Donna's choice.
Yeah, ultimately it's Donna's choice, but I'm just wondering who came up with the idea this early.
And it's Donna. Okay. Because like what any good defense attorney is going to say, we'll take it by ear. Yeah. We'll play it by ear. We'll see how their case goes, and then we'll decide, which still might be the case. Sure. Like I'm assuming that their attorneys are saying, look, I know we're putting it out there that Donna's going to testify. Maybe that's just straight strategy. Yeah. To try to make Georgia a little nervous, like, oh, well, shit, it's not making Georgia nervous. She's like, can't wait for Donna to testify.
Or it could have been giving her more overconfidence as well. Maybe that's part of the strategy there. Make her super confident. Well, Donna's going to testify. Not that you're going to do a lesser of a job, but, it may play in your psyche a little bit like, well, we got that slam dunk coming too. And if the slam dunk suddenly doesn't happen, it's like, oh, shit,
Right. There's no question. I mean, if you've got that, where the state's relying on it is what they anticipate will be a very powerful piece of evidence for them, which is the defendant's testimony. Yeah, you're right. That could, but Georgia ain't that one, man. Like
no.
She knows this case forward and backwards. It's been her obsession for the last decade. And like, they're not going to catch her, like off guard. Like she's going to be prepared.
She didn't just get the
way the defense tries to play it. And she's ready.
She didn't just get the gig last week. Like, oh, better study up on this.
Not her first rodeo.
No, the fact that I mean, let me ask you this: Do you think Donna can sway a jury? I mean, we've seen her testify in pretrial motions, talking about earwax and uncomfortable bedding situations in prison, kind of Koberger-ish a little bit. But do you think she can get up there and play this act? And obviously, that was a very different crowd. It was not in front of the jury. It was for the judge. It was for her own selfish needs and things of that nature. She's already got the cardigan on. She's already playing old lady. Do you think if they wheeled her up there and then helped her get onto the stand with crutches, that she could pull off poor old grandma? And I'm just, my God, I can't believe Charlie got into this big mess over here, and I don't know what happened.
I mean, no more than I thought that Murdoch was going to be able to get on the stand and portray loving father who had, his entire family like destroyed. I just, but in terms of, narcissistic people, you've got two people that absolutely themselves believe that they're going to be able to get on that stand and convince a jury.
Yes.
That's what this boils down to. Because ultimately, and it goes back to the question you just asked me, like, whose idea was it? It was definitely Donna's. Mm-hmm. Donna is, of course, thinking, I'm going to be able to get there on the stand, and I'm going to be able to convince people that there's no way I would have done this. I'm just this wonderful, loving woman who, has been tossed into this mix, and my son didn't have anything to do with it. I didn't have anything to do with it. And they're going to believe me because I'm just that believable. What
advantages, or let's say Donna gets convicted, what advantage is there for Donna or Charlie or anybody to turn on Wendy or to turn on Harvey? I mean, obviously they're family members. I don't think they're like necessarily out to get them, but if they're going to be spending the rest of their life in a box, are they vindictive enough to say, guess what? You're going to join us too, because you were part of this, if they were.
That would require like resentencing. Yeah. So like once they're already sentenced, if she's like, all right, well, I'm going to turn state's evidence. I'm going to put Wendy down for you, but you got to give me something. Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be worked out. Yeah. Some kind of deal could be worked out for resentencing because of what she was bringing to the table. But that would be completely up to Georgia's discretion as to whether or not she was willing to do that. So, I mean, there could be aspects of it where they could gain a benefit, and that would ultimately probably be the biggest carrot that the state could offer in terms of getting them to do it. But, it could be that thing where, even if they're not offered anything, and to me, it's always like Charlie, who is such the mama's boy, that if Donna gets convicted and Charlie's just sitting in there steaming, like you let mom go down. Yeah. Like mom's going down on this shit now. Like, fuck you, Wendy. I'm giving it up. He's like, I'm done with the ruse. It's like more than, because Donna's 75. Yeah. And like she could be that like just so family driven that she's not going to let Wendy go down too. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, that's why I was saying I think that the more likely scenario where you'd see Donna turn state's evidence would be if they went after Harvey. Yeah. I think that like especially if Harvey really had no plan or was not a part of like the overall scheme in any significant way, it's like, I mean, you could argue Harvey, was making the money. Harvey had kind of built the wealth. Harvey clearly knew about it, after the fact, so it's like, to me, that squeeze on Harvey would be the more likely scenario wherein you might get Donna to squeal as to Wendy, not as to Harvey, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Harvey's like probably a tougher case than Wendy, because there's no, as far as I know, there's not many communications that they have that are smoking gun type communications that involve Harvey. And you don't have the bump. You know, you don't have any kind of direct tissue in terms of saying, all right, look, clearly Harvey was involved. So, I mean, how it's going to play out is just like unbelievable. And like, it's this case that, because as soon as she's convicted, if she is, people are going to be calling for Wendy's head, and it's like, it's going to be one of those situations where people are going to be dying to know if George is going to make the move, but she's got to weigh the evidence. She needs to look and see, do I have enough? I've got some stuff between Jeff Lacoste, who was, Wendy's ex-boyfriend, who said some pretty damning shit. And, you've got Wendy's location at the time of the murders. And then you've got common sense, that where people are like, all right, man. I mean, is it, but like, I would be using, if I was defending Wendy, I'd be using the emails of Donna's as evidence for Wendy that, like, look, Wendy, depending on what the reply was, what I'm saying?
Yes, that's a big question.
Depending on that's the, whatever, however, Wendy replied to those emails, like, Mom, fuck off, leave me alone. Or like, I hear you, Mom. And,
sounds like a great idea. Do whatever you're going to do. I'll be over here.
Yeah. Like, those aren't helpful to Wendy. So I mean, it's all fascinating, man. It's such a tangled web, man.
This is Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski. Here now, Tony Brueski.
Well, hi. Took me a few moments to figure out what to put in the little headline bar there. Actually, it took me all of 3 seconds. After seeing the last 3 witnesses in the trial of Donna Adelson. It don't look too good when your kids, at least 2 of the 3 so far, have checked the box that says, we think mom's guilty. The courtroom in Tallahassee has been tense before, but over the last 2 days of testimony, the spotlight has burned hotter than ever on Donna Adelson, the 75-year-old matriarch of the Adelson family, is accused of orchestrating the murder for hire plot that left her former son-in-law, law professor Dan Markel, dead in 2014. What is it that jurors have heard that such a line, Donna Adelson is effed, should be spread across the screen in that way? Well, we'll get into that. And I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section on YouTube as we go through this. Jurors have already heard about the broader conspiracy, the hitman hired, the chain of connections through Donna's son, Charlie, and the family's years-long obsession with relocating Wendy Adelson and her children from Tallahassee to Miami. But what was unfolding in the last few days in a very dramatic fashion is not from law enforcement or professional experts. It's from inside Donna Adelson's own family. The enmeshment that once held them all together, it appears to be torn. It appears to be gone. Off into the ether, with Donna sitting off on the side, looking like this. On the stand, her daughter Wendy, her oldest son Robert, and Wendy's ex-boyfriend Jeffrey Lacasse each painted pieces of a portrait, woven together. The testimony suggests not just a controlling mother, but a family culture built around Donna's influence. And while Wendy tried at times to minimize her mother's role, you may remember I just don't remember. I don't remember. Really, like, the crux of the last 11 years of your life. The key details of those moments that you lived through. You don't remember? I guess it's one way of pleading the fifth. Roberts and Lacasse added sharp memories, believe it or not. They remembered stuff. If you don't remember, Wendy, don't worry. Your ex and your brother got your back. Maybe just enough to one day find those agents raiding your home and taking you away too. But who knows? I don't know. It's a big question with Wendy. I do think she could be a complete victim of this family. But there are enough details here, and enough that after 11 years, she's still tight enough with her family to say, I don't remember, when maybe you should have turned state witness a long time ago. And maybe you didn't know anything leading up to this until after it happened, and that's why you were vomiting sick in a restaurant shortly after a Charlie celebratory murder dinner. I could see that being upsetting, Wendy. I could see that being very reasonably upsetting. And living through this hell with your hellish family. Time to stop standing up for him in any way, shape, or form. And it looks like she's getting a little closer to that. But the worry is incriminating herself. And I don't know. She's never been charged with anything. And like I said, I don't know. I don't know that she knew, at least going in. I think she knew there was capabilities and potential, and her family was crazy enough to do something like this. But I do wonder if the cognitive dissonance made her think, nah, that'll never happen. Robert and Lacasse added some sharp, unsettling details that prosecutors will argue point directly towards Donna's guilt, and they're pretty large arrows. Let's talk about Wendy first. From the moment Wendy Adelson walked into the courtroom, her eyes, or the eyes of the jury, stayed fixed on her, and her eyebrows stayed fixed in position, too, because of Botox. I don't know any other explanation. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but Wendy's eyebrows don't move. She was there under subpoena, testifying with immunity for what she said on the stand, though still carrying the shadow of being named an unindicted co-conspirator in the broader case. Wendy tried to present herself as detached, forgetful, careful at others. I don't remember became the refrain, but under questioning, she admitted enough to leave little doubt about her mother's reach. Emails shown to the jury revealed Donna's encouraging her to put on a performance in family court. Literally looking up like acting tips to give to her adult daughter. Here, I watched this YouTube video on how to act. Literally, act this way. How to be a good actress was the quote. Donna pushed Wendy to use religion as a weapon against a Jewish person, even suggesting she fake a conversion to Catholicism for her children to rattle Markel, who's a Jewish person, a devout Orthodox Jew. And it doesn't stop there. This monster, this narcissistic monster of a mother, God knows what personality disorder we're dealing with over here. One could probably guess a few, but we can't diagnose anything. At one point, Donna, who is grandma, okay? Mom and dad should be making these decisions, but Donna proposing they actually go and baptize the boys. She said she'd already looked into it, and it could be arranged in 2 weeks. We're doing that for who? Who are we doing that for? Are we doing that for Wendy? Because that's her choice, and it's also the choice of Dan Markel. It's not grandma's choice to decide when and how the child's going to be baptized. And oh, by the way, the kids are Jewish. So who's that going to benefit exactly, Donna? Why would you do that? Why would you try to cause that sort of chaos in your daughter's marriage, even after they're divorced, in your grandchildren's lives, in your daughter's life? You're just going in there with a giant old ice pick and just twisting. And going, I'm doing this because I love them and I want their little baby souls to be in heaven with me because God knows he's going to burn them in hell at the stake if they're not baptized immediately because all little babies go burn in hell. They told me that when I was in Sunday school and when I was 3, so it must be true. Other messages were no less chilling. She also didn't care and made references to dressing the children up as Hitler Youth, if that made an impact on Markel. It's beyond just, we don't like him, we don't come from the same religion. This is full-on anti-Semitic show from Donna Adelson. So I guess we can add anti-Semite to the list of all the things that Donna is. Other messages are no less chilling. Donna called Markel a narcissist, a bastard, an asshole. Well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? And worse, she pressed Wendy to aggravate him, to scare him, to take something from him, to show that leap what would make him absolutely miserable. And only the words of a narcissistic mother-in-law could those terms come out with such vitriol. Wendy confirmed that her mother described her life in Tallahassee as if she were a hostage or a prisoner. Couldn't you just see Donna? Oh, my daughter, she's up there with Dad. We're going to dress the kids as Hitler Youth. Take pictures of like, what the fuck? In her self-aggrandized pity me tone. And Donna, being Donna, repeatedly told her relocation was non-negotiable to your 30-some-year-old adult daughter. Non-negotiable. When pressed, Wendy admitted her mother hated Markel during the height of the divorce battles. Later, she tried to soften the language, saying her mother was just mad. No, she's just kind of mad. I don't know. Is she? I would say she's kind of controlling. I guess so. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Huh? She's just mad rather than hateful. The prosecutors had their receipts, literally emails where Donna spelled out her disdain for jurors. A cumulative effect was clear. Donna wasn't an uninvolved grandmother wringing her hands from afar. She was an active strategist in her daughter's divorce, feeding Wendy arguments, drafting ideas, and demanding results. And then came Robert, the other son who got the hell out of there as soon as he could and realized he wanted a better life. If Wendy was hesitant, Robert Adelson was blunt. God bless Robert. The family's oldest child, an ear, nose, and throat doctor living in New York, testified with a mixture of calm and unease. Unlike Charlie or Wendy, Robert had distanced himself from the family years earlier. That distance gave his words extra weight in the courtroom. And what I would describe as, he sunk her boat. You sunk my battleship. He described his mother as the driving force of the household, controlling, overly involved, and fixated on the lives of her adult children. He said Donna became especially consumed with Wendy's divorce, far more than Charlie ever was. Charlie, mind you, the one who's already charged and in prison and been convicted of being part of this murder conspiracy. Robert recalled being told that Donna helped orchestrate Wendy's separation from Dan Markel down to the details. She rented her daughter a new apartment in Tallahassee, moved money around, and timed the phone call to Dan so he would learn of the split just before giving a speech. You know, for his job where he pays bills and supports your grandchildren, you demented, crazy bitch, Donna. Donna, he said, told the story was something close to glee. We called him and he was about to give a speech. And I can't help but feed off of other people's unhappiness because I truly, deep down, am a very deeply unhappy woman. I always have been, always will be. But I like to mask it this way, deflect. You narcissistic C word. He also testified that Donna worked on Wendy's court filings from afar. Donna worked on Wendy's court filings from afar. Emailing suggestions, edits, even proposing $1 million bribe to convince Markel to allow relocation to Miami. We'll just pool our money together. It's what mommy wants. Mommy needs enough money from all you so that Wendy, who's an adult, can move down here. We can bribe the kids, the kid's dad to not be around. Let's give him money. He'll just go away because it's what I want. The logic of Donna Adelson and every narcissist mother on the planet. Perhaps the most damning moments came not from memories of the divorce, but from Robert's description of his mother's reaction after Markel's death. Robert said that when he asked Donna what she thought of the murder, she told him flatly, "I don't know, and I don't care. It doesn't concern me." More or less. He told jurors that what disturbed him most was not her answer, but her lack of curiosity. Nobody in the family seemed interested, he testified, almost as if they had already knew what had happened. He also described the phone call shortly after the murder in which Donna told him not to talk to police. When he replied that he already had, she dismissed it, saying, "Well, you don't know anything anyway." What's there to know, Donna? What do you know more than he knows about a murder that you supposedly had nothing to do with, even though your name's on the check that went to the woman that paid the hitman? You don't know anything anyway. The words that will keep Donna Adelson sleeping on a prison bed, complaining, "Oh, it hurts, it's uncomfortable," like Brian Koberger does about not getting vegan sides for the rest of your pathetic life in prison. Hope you got enough joy in controlling others' lives while you were out, or destroying them, Donna. This ain't gonna end super well. That earwax is gonna build up so much you ain't gonna hear anybody sneaking up on you, Donna. Stealing your canteen snacks. Clean them ears. For jurors, Robert's testimony reinforced the theme prosecutors have been hammering. Donna was not a grandmother caught up in her children's disputes. She was the one pulling strings. And after Markel was killed, she seemed more interested in controlling the fallout than actually finding answers. It was some damning testimony. You can watch the whole thing on our channel and wherever it is, YouTube or podcasts. You got to hear the brother's testimony. It's a thing. And then there's Jeffrey Lacasse, I'm not sure. I apologize. The outsider who saw too much. But he wasn't always an outsider. He was dating Wendy for a while. And Wendy apparently remembers more things when not on the stand. And she talks about more things when not on the stand. If Robert brought the perspective of an estranged son, Jeffrey Lacasse brought something else entirely, the eyes of an outsider who briefly dated Wendy in 2014. His testimony over 2 days has been some of the most dramatic yet, offering jurors a look at conversations and moments that prosecutors argue link Wendy and, by extension, Donna directly to motive and planning. LaCase described on June 4th, 2014, a coffee shop meeting where Wendy abruptly canceled a planned vacation with him. The trip was set for July 11th, the 17th, returning the day before Markel's murder. Wendy's explanation was that she was worried she might not be back in time to pick up her children on July 18th. Well, you make arrangements for that. It's a vacation, Wendy. Sometimes things happen, flights get delayed, whatever. You figure it out. To LaCase, the reasoning made no sense. Their flight was scheduled to land the night before, and Wendy's schedule was planned months in advance. So, what did you know, Wendy, about those days before anything happened that you needed to be around town for? Was it really just picking up the kids? Around the same time, Wendy asked him to look at her television. You know, the whole, it's cheaper to buy you this TV than a Hitman television. And Charlie? What he saw was not a minor malfunction into, I don't know, an educated individual with remote common sense that's lived more than 2 years of life could look at the television and go, looks like somebody punched it. Impact damage. You know, something hits a screen, it shatters. It happens to these, it happens to TVs. These are TVs behind me. You go and punch it, you're going to see, it's spidering out of damage. That's how that works. It's not just, there's some lines on the TV, as she described. There was a couple lines on the TV. And I thought, should I get a new TV or should I see if it can be fixed? Well, the ex-boyfriend said it looked like somebody stood in front of it and struck it. And usually when that happens to a TV, it's kind of effed. It's done. Newer TVs, you do that. And this was 2011. There were flat screens then. Even more damaging flat screens then, actually, too. You could damage them a lot easier. And I'm guessing, maybe Wendy, in a really bad, angry day, realizing her family did what they did, and now the walls are closing in. I could have seen, maybe somebody chucked something at that screen. Maybe somebody hit that screen. Realizing what that screen represented. Then came July 13th, just 5 days before Markel's murder. LaCase testified that Wendy told him, the only way I'll ever be able to relocate is if something happens to Danny. It's a weird way of putting it. I was in a marriage for a while, and I was in a situation where a stepdaughter was not going to be, I just kind of assumed they weren't going to be able to relocate because, they wanted to parent their kid. And I would never describe it like that. If I were to describe it like, well, if we wanted to move and they gave permission or they wanted to come or, that's probably how it would work. Not if something happens. What a weird, ominous way of putting that. I mean, true. I mean, he could have accidentally gotten hit by a bus, eaten by a wolf, ate, some Tide Pods. Anything's possible, right? When he pushed back, she confided something even more chilling. According to him, he said last summer, this was him quoting Wendy. Last summer, Charlie looked into all options to take care of Dan Markel, or the Dan Markel problem. The Dan Markel problem. Including hiring a hitman. It would cost about $15,000. Lacoste said this was not the TV joke. That Charlie had been known for making. The joke was said with levity. He testified, This was different. This was serious. She asked to tell me in confidence, which you don't do before a joke. It made my stomach flip, is what he testified to. What'd you do? If you're sitting across from someone and they tell you that. On July 14th, during what LaCase called a strange yoga date, Wendy pressed him for detailed information about his travel plans for Friday the 18th. Where would he be going? What route would he take? LaCase said the questions baffled him, especially since Wendy had just broken things off and said she didn't want to spend time with him that day. In hindsight, he testified the route he described overlapped with the area where the killers fled after shooting Markel. He also recalled Wendy later telling him about a celebration dinner with Charlie after the murder. At that dinner, she vomited at the table, like you do. For jurors, LaCase's testimony added something the prosecution had lacked, a firsthand account of Wendy, and by extension, the family, speaking openly about Markel's death as the only way to achieve relocation. It also tied timing and logistics directly to the week of the murder. Was Wendy trying to set her ex-boyfriend up for being the suspect? Or the person they eventually charged with this? In a real sloppy, crappy way? I understand Wendy's got immunity in certain ways of testifying here, but there's a lot out there on you, Wendy. Your ex-boyfriend is telling the truth. I think I'd be thankful for those years you had with your children while they were young, because I'm not sure you're going to get those with any grandkids. You may be looking like Donna back there. That may be you in a handful of years. Just picture yourself. I don't know. It's a big question. It's a big question. I'm curious to get your thoughts in the comments section on YouTube. All this taken together, the testimony from Wendy, Robert, and LaCase offers a devastating narrative for the prosecution. Wendy admitted her mother's overbearing involvement. Robert describing her chilling indifference. And LaCase provided firsthand accounts of conversations where Wendy tied relocation to Markel's death and invoked her brother Charlie by name. The prosecution's theory is simple. Donna Adelson wasn't a grandmother sitting passively on the sidelines. She was the one who believed relocation was non-negotiable. She was the one feeding her daughter strategies to take control of Dan Markel. And she was the one who, when Markel was shot dead, responded not with shock, but with silence and a warning to her son not to talk to investigators. The defense will argue otherwise, portraying Donna as an emotional mother who said ugly things in the heat of bitter custody battles, but never conspired to kill. But after these 2 days of testimony, jurors have heard her own daughter call her controlling, her own son call her uncaring, and her daughter's ex-boyfriend describe conversations that sound far too close to a blueprint for murder. For Donna Adelson, the words of those closest to her may prove harder to defend than any document or recording. There's more to come.
This is Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski. Here now, Tony Brueski.
It was a dramatic day, to say the least, at the trial of Donna Adelson. We're going to break down Wendy's testimony. There was other testimony today that was also wow. But we're gonna keep ourselves over here in the Wendy box for today and try and go through what unfolded. It was nothing short of explosive. We are going to hear Wendy on the stand admitting that Charlie joked about a hitman, that she was on the phone with him for 18 minutes right in the window when Dan was murdered, and that the very TV tied to that hitman joke became her alibi on the morning of the killings. We'll walk through her reaction at the crime scene, the roadblock, her decision to change her children's names to Adelson while skipping their father's funeral, and her stunning admission that she hasn't spoken to her mother, Donna, since late 2023, a mother who pressured her to back Charlie and who once called relocation a matter of life and death. And perhaps most damning of all, Wendy herself once pointed suspicion at her own family during her police interview. This is a testimony that lays bare the Adelson family dynamic, or what is left of it, and how far Donna's influence has reached. And there is a lot to unpack in all of this. There are new pieces that are coming out today, and that we are learning about the Adelson family and their dynamics. But let's start with a little view from the courtroom itself. Let's start with taking a look specifically at Wendy's issues with Dan. Keep in mind, Wendy was saying, I just, I want this to be a good relationship, parenting-wise, and da-da-da-da. Obviously, it didn't turn out all that well. This is Wendy being confronted with her own words of what she had referred to Dan about. Keep in mind, Wendy's not on trial, but this is what she had to say on the stand.
At the time of Dan Markel's murder, was the defendant, your mother, very angry at Dan Markel?
Before he died?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And you hated him too, right?
At certain points, I was very frustrated with him.
Did you refer to him as an STD?
I don't remember saying that.
Tab 5.
It looks like I made that analogy.
Danny is an STD. One wrong mistake, marrying him, and this will never go away. Is that what you said?
I did.
And did you share that kind of sentiment with your mother?
I don't remember ever saying that, so I don't think it's something I said very often.
And this was said in an email on February 26th of 2013, correct?
It was.
Approximately 17 months before the murder?
Yes, I don't think it was an email, though. It looks like it was sort of an iMessage.
Okay. Did you ever refer to your ex-husband as the Dark Lord?
I don't remember saying that, but I certainly might have.
Well,
did you refer to your ex-husband as Gibbers?
I did.
What is the meaning of Gibbers?
Gibbers was just a silly name that a friend helped me come up with to basically make him feel less scary. It was nonsense.
Did it reference Jew in boots?
That I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't a friendly name, right?
It was a silly name.
It was an
anti-Semitic. Did you ever say
name.
that you hated Dan Markel?
I don't remember saying it, but I certainly could have.
Tab 31, please, to refresh your memory.
I said that I hate him in this moment.
Okay. And did you say in that email, that same email, quote, I hate my children's dad?
I did.
And you agree that email was sent approximately 15 months before Mr. Markel was murdered?
It was in April of 2013.
Yes, ma'am. The approach with what I've marked.
I don't know what's going on with Wendy's hair today.
It's very cute, I think. Her eyebrows are on point.
And 57.
Or is that Botox?
asked you
What could be?
about
It looks like they don't think they're moving.
the Gibbers nickname. Did you have that nickname stored in your cell phone as Dan Markel's contact name?
I did.
For to show you these exhibits and ask if they're fair and accurate. Contacts 56A. Who is that a contact for? You know.
It's my mom's phone number, so that would have been. It's a picture of Ben as a little guy.
Are we getting a double feedback on this at all? It sounds a little.
Yes.
For mom at that time.
Yes.
And the 56B.
That's my dad.
That's his phone number.
It is.
56C.
That's my brother.
Charlie.
Yes.
Accurate phone number for him at that time.
Yes.
And then 57, is that the contact you had in there for your ex-husband, Dan Markel?
Yes.
Judge, at this time, I asked to meet the evidence 56 and 57. Okay.
All right, so I think we've seen a good chunk of Wendy there talking about, she wasn't on the best terms. And that's, it's understandable. Like, a lot of people go through divorces. It's not always going to be a fun and everyone's wonderful and they're a lovely human being type thing.
Really?
So I'm not that concerned about the comments that she made about, what would be more concerning is how much Donna leaned into them. And Donna went into this not so much of, a healing force, but more of a, yes, let's get this rage up a little bit more. Let's pour a little gasoline on this shit. And that seems to be, what Donna did. Wendy described that Donna talked about relocation, not just in terms of, I'd really love to see the kids more. It's more like life and death. Let's take a look at this.
What about Charlie? Was he outraged by the court's decision?
I honestly don't remember him being outraged.
But to your mom, it was a big deal.
My mom was really upset.
Yeah. It was described by your mom in several places as like a life and death proposition. Do you agree with that?
I think my mom thought my life in Tallahassee wasn't good.
And who was for that to decide?
Right.
Is it true that you never would have left Dan Markel without your mom's suggestions?
Overruled. She may answer the question based on her own knowledge.
I would have left Danny regardless of anyone else's input. I was very unhappy.
Did you ever write that you would have never left him without your mom's suggestions?
I don't remember saying that.
Please refer to tab 41.
Yes.
Well,
There you go.
good thing we got this.
Yeah, we got the goods, honey.
Doesn't remember a lot of things. She's got her mom's memory.
Not helpful, is it? Ruh-roh.
I do say here I wouldn't have done it on my own.
Okay.
Gosh, what does that mean?
You specifically reference your mom?
I say my parents and brother's suggestions and support.
Okay.
I think because I wasn't happy, but part of me thought maybe I would just stay until the kids grew up.
That checks. Tony's laughing.
One moment, I've lost my place a little bit. All right, I think you already testified you did not offer your mom your divorce petition to edit. Is that your testimony?
Sorry.
Did you
What's the
send your
question?
divorce petition to your mother to assist you in editing it?
I don't remember doing it.
Don't remember a lot.
And
Wendy.
did your mom also pretend to be you to Mercer University to help you complete your divorce affidavit?
I have no memory of that.
Got a little pop out here of this email from your mom. Obviously, I pretended to be you contacting these financial institutions. Is that something that she would normally do on your behalf? Pose as you?
I had very little understanding or involvement of my financial situation. And so that might have been an account that my dad had created for me or that had like co-signatory authority. So
Jesus
that's
Christ,
possible.
you're a
She's
freaking
an
adult.
attorney, right?
Grow up.
She's an
Grow
attorney. Am I
up.
correct on this?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, but I believe she's a professor. I could be wrong. You can look
I
it up.
thought she had a law license.
I
and
don't
to
know.
me,
We got to
this
look it up.
sounds- this
She does.
sounds-
Yep.
Okay. This sounds like somebody needs to investigate her. This is not.
This
is
sounds
not
like
good.
no. I mean, these are like excuses like a high school girl is going to give. Where were you out last night so late? You know, I mean, it's these. Holy shit. Well, here's the problem with investigating her. She can say anything on the stand right now with immunity. So if she wants to let some stuff out right now, she should let some stuff out right now because that's where it can't. She can throw a lot out right now that if were to be brought out in a different setting, could be very damning. But if she can reference it back to this came out in court here this way, can't use it.
This has to harm her reputation immensely.
Oh, come on. She doesn't have a reputation anymore.
Well, anymore.
It's not like this is like, it's not like, oh, gee, this seems a little weird over here with Wendy. It's stunning just how involved mom continued to be in these children's lives well into adulthood. These people would have been in like at least their 30s when this stuff was going down. They have kids, they have families, they have careers, they have businesses, they have degrees, they have life, and mom's posing as you.
What is going on in your life that your mother is so entrenched in everything that you do? And including, you don't want mom parsing through your divorce decree to find things that irritate her. You know what I mean?
I don't think there was any other way with these folks. I think this was all so normal for them, and none of this seemed odd. It seems odd to us. But
Well, it's the boiling frog metaphor.
I think within the dynamics of the Adelson family, this is just how business is done.
Yeah.
And it's looked as well. Why don't you have me and your father look at this, or me look at this, or we're looking out for you. I mean, and that's the whole thing. Looking out. Like, no, you're trying to control people.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got the whole family against her husband, and then she decided, oh, I should probably not be here because my enmeshed family says this is a bad idea.
You know, can you imagine trying to date in this family? Oh my God.
I'm glad that one got away, and he seems to know what he was dealing with. His testimony is striking, and we're not going to listen to that one today, but we'll get to it at some point. Donna had a lot of contempt. For Dan, and it was even more, brutal than just, Wendy's understandable contempt going through a divorce. This is like, why? Why are you so angry? Oh, because he has a life and he has children, and his children are his priority, and your priority is yourself. Here's what some of Donna's repeated insults looked like toward Dan, according to Wendy.
Did your mom ever call Dan Markel any disparaging names around this time frame?
She did.
Okay, including piece of shit?
Yes.
I'm good with that.
Asshole?
Yes.
I'm good with that.
A narcissist?
Yes.
A bully?
Yes.
A bastard?
Yes.
Did your mom help you prepare for your meetings with your divorce lawyer?
My mom offered help, but I don't think I needed help preparing for meetings with my divorce lawyer.
Who was your divorce lawyer?
Kristen Adamson.
Your mom, in an email dated January 9th, 2013, indicates that she thinks the job opportunities that you had in South Florida was a major bargaining chip in your divorce. Did you agree with that?
Did I agree with it at the time?
Yes.
I don't remember.
And she did a lot of work sort of making arguments to that point, didn't she?
I believe so.
And did you forward your correspondence with your lawyer to your mother?
I did.
Publishing 64. I'm going to skip to J. She wanted to be kept informed, right?
Yes.
Your mom mentions, see if I can find it. This is 64G, your South Florida legal team. She will try to remember to discuss things with your South Florida legal team. Who was that?
I think she was jokingly referring to herself.
Oh, she's the South Florida legal team.
I don't know who else it would have been. I think that's why there's a smiley face. I think it was a joke.
Okay. More questions for your upcoming hearing with your attorney. Did you forward your mom's questions or ask your mom's questions when you met with your attorney?
Probably not all of them, but if there was something that I thought was useful, I probably forwarded it or had a conversation about it.
And here you can see in paragraph 2, your mom referred to Dan Markel as Gibbers as well, right?
It was a silly name. Yeah.
Let's go to the order denying your petition to relocate. Was your mom aware that the order was filed?
Yes.
Okay. And this is language from the order denied with prejudice, meaning you can't re-raise it, right?
Right. You can't refile.
And your mom wanted to fight the decision, didn't she?
She did.
Did you feel railroaded by her in this email where she's kind of bullying you to keep fighting?
The prosecutor's testifying.
Please rephrase your question.
Did you feel railroaded by your mother?
No.
Okay, but she wants you to continue to take action.
It was denied. I wasn't taking any more action.
Not any more legal action.
I was not taking any more action of any kind.
Didn't your mom have some other ideas for some other actions that could happen?
She did.
She did want to take it to an appeal. Do you remember that?
Actually, I don't remember, but
That's on tab 43 of your binder.
yes, I see.
Okay, but she also wanted to develop this plan of action that could be implemented between the time you learned of the relocation denial and your final hearing in court to maybe strong arm Mr. Markel into agreeing to the relocation. Do you remember that email?
Yes.
Okay, and she had some ideas for how to do that, right?
Yes.
And she said Gibbers hasn't beaten the Adelson family yet. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So what was her plan of action? What did she suggest you could do to get Dan Markel to relent and let you take his kids to South Florida?
She suggested that I pretend.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's not even micromanaging, that's macromanaging.
The suggestions that she has, like go take pictures of the kids in front of the Christian church.
Yeah, that's
What the hell? There's another aspect to this. I'm trying to understand the Donna Adelson angle of it. Of what she had said. Donna suggested that if Americans could be dropped behind enemy lines in World War II wearing Nazi uniforms to get the job done, then Wendy should be willing to put on an act in her custody battle.
ouch. Ouch.
She pushed it further, saying even if Wendy dressed her kids up in Hitler Youth uniforms, she wouldn't care, as long as it scared Dan Markel and showed him he wasn't in control. This is a monster.
Yeah.
Let's keep listening.
Any acting training?
No.
Do you know why your mom would Google how to teach an actress emotion?
I don't know.
Did she ever share with you or forward you any tips on how to bring emotion or fake emotion?
Not that I remember of any kind.
Which you surely don't remember shit so far, so that
Right.
doesn't hold
What
up.
about a financial offer? Was that part of it as well?
Yes.
What was the financial offer to be?
I think it was $1 million.
Who was going to pay the $1 million?
My mom, my dad, and my brother.
And they were going to pay $1 million. You didn't have to pay any of it?
I don't remember having to pay any of it.
Okay. And they were going to give Dan Markel $1 million for what?
So that I could relocate.
Okay. Did you ever make that offer to Dan Markel?
No,
To your knowledge, did anyone make it to him?
I don't think so.
Would it have worked?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Well, I'm going to guess it's a big no. I'm going to guess he turned that down and then take control from him.
Yeah.
She's all about getting control from Dan Markel, right?
Yes.
Ding, 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 bingo.
And you told her these ideas were crazy, didn't you?
I did.
Mom, you're nuts.
I will not be introducing my children to Christianity. I truly believe it will backfire.
Again, Your Honor, the prosecutor's testifying and leaving.
As the counsel testifying to stand, please make sure you're asking open-ended questions to the witness. Ms. Kepperman,
I'm reading from State's Exhibit
Yeah.
64V, which is in evidence.
please proceed.
Did you say it would backfire?
Yes, those are my words.
And what did you mean by backfire?
I don't remember, but I can read there below what I was saying.
Did it have to do with this will give him ammunition to pursue things in court?
I might have meant that at the time.
Did your mom
Of
respect
course
your
you meant
decision
that.
not to use her suggestions?
I mean, she had to have, right? I'm a grown-up.
See, oh, you are?
No, you're not acting like one
I
in
don't
this
think that's
relationship.
ever quite occurred.
She kept pushing, though, didn't she?
She was suggesting other ideas.
Okay.
Suggesting
January
ideas.
27th, 2013 email 64W. Charlie brought up a good point when he said that Americans were dropped behind enemy lines during World War II wearing Nazi uniforms to get what they wanted. They had a job to get done, and they did what they needed to do to accomplish it. You have a job to get done and a very short time frame to accomplish it. If you dressed your kids up in Hitler Youth uniforms and brought them down here, I could care less if it was an act of defiance and would show gibbers.
Holy shit.
But he's not in control. Did
I
she
hope someone sets
suggest
Donna's hair on fire
that
in
to
prison.
you?
Yes.
Literally.
Well, I think she's setting her own self on fire at this point.
Oh my God. What a monstrous bitch.
This is some bad stuff.
This is why folks like this, these narcissistic mothers, there's so many folks like this in the world. There's so many matriarchs like, and there's men that do the same thing too, but there's so many like this that everybody's looks, oh, well, they're just kind of eccentric. They're this.
Yeah.
They're this shit. And they will go to any lengths possible if they have the means. They will only be stopped by their means. And she had means.
Well, $1 million? Oh my goodness. Yeah, she felt privileged. She felt that she had resources to do whatever she needed to do for whatever plan she had.
Oh my
Period.
God.
You know, the rest of us out there, we don't have $1 million to throw around. We are limited.
Yeah, well, you pull it all from your family, and then we're going to give him this. Grandma's also, of course, as all great grandmothers do that have the interest of their grandchildren at heart, is poisoning the minds of her grandchildren, trying to get the very children that he fathered and brought into this world to turn against him. Because, Grandma doesn't like him, and that's what should happen. Let's take a listen.
Do you recall a motion being filed by Dan Markel that we've referred to as the grandma motion?
No.
Did Dan Markel in March 26th of 2014 file a motion seeking to preclude your mother from having unsupervised contact with your kids?
I don't remember him filing that motion, but it sounds like if it's a motion you have a name for, then it exists.
And in that motion, do you recall, or does it refresh your memory, that he was saying, Grandma, the boys were telling him, Grandma says you're stupid, Grandma says she hates you, and as a result, he was concerned about your mom alienating the kids or turning the kids against him?
I remember hearing about this motion.
Okay. And that is a motion that was never got to be heard, right?
That was part of the motion to enforce the settlement agreement.
But which was never heard.
Which was never heard.
Because he was killed.
Because, yes.
Look at Donna.
Funny how that happens.
And do you remember why you didn't forward your mom the actual motion that was filed in reference to that?
I don't.
Well, it wasn't her business.
If you will check see if you can find tab 98 in the back there, please.
I have tab 98.
Okay. Does it refresh your recollection as to the question, which is, where was your mom on the day that the relocation was filed, which for your reference was 3/26/14.
So this email is from 3/25/14, and it looks like my parents were coming up. It says coming on Thursday, and this was written Tuesday the 25th. So my guess is that they were coming on Thursday the 27th.
And was it their practice to typically stop in Orlando and spend the night on the trip up to Tallahassee?
I don't remember.
Okay. The allegations that are laid out in Dan Markel's motion were sent to you in an email before the motion was ever filed. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, no.
Publishing 64AA, a December 16th, 2013 email. This email indicates that Dan Markel is going to be introducing a major issue. grandparental alienation. This will be part of our ongoing effort to resolve outstanding issues. But basically, at the bottom there, Ben announced to me, Abba. What does Abba mean?
It's Abba. It means father in Hebrew.
Father. Grandma says you're stupid. Okay, and he details a couple, I think it's 3 different instances in which his boys have told him that Grandma, your mother, has told them that you're trying to take my sunshines away. She hates you, that sort of thing. Does this refresh your memory at all about those allegations?
It does.
Okay. And this email, you did forward this email to your mother. Do you recall that?
I don't recall that, but it makes sense that I would have.
And your mom responded to it, or someone responded to it. Wow. Do you remember that?
I was shown that email yesterday.
Okay. And you forwarded that email not only to your mom, but to a total of 12 different people. Do you remember that?
I remember being very surprised that he was trying to accuse a member of the Florida bar of fraud and going to all these lengths to avoid paying money that he owed me.
Okay. And is that the reason why you sent it to the 12 people?
It was pretty shocking what he was doing.
Being offended that your mom is turning the kids against their own father? I would say having the kids dress up in Hitler Youth outfits and standing outside a synagogue or something might be a little more shocking.
Well, take your pick. What's offensive to you at this point? All of it. Should be all of it.
I don't remember.
I don't
remember. I don't remember. Like, this is all news. Like, oh, these things happened to me in my life? I didn't know that.
What, 10, 12 years ago?
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, I feel these poor kids. They're teenagers. They're like it's driving age-ish, if not about to be. And I can't imagine their opinions of their family.
Yeah.
All I can say is it gets better. Run as far and fast as you can from these people, including mom. Because this is some dark stuff you got going on here with your family. You can't pick them. I know that.
No, but you can actually, once you realize
you have agency.
Once you realize how dysfunctional your family is, you do have a choice. You can either be immersed in that toxicity, or you can say, you know what? It ain't worth it, and I am walking the fuck away.
It's all being very much laid out for them here. Wendy admitted that, the hitman joke. We've heard about this before. We've heard Wendy talk about this before. Charlie made a joke about, I got you this TV because it's cheaper than a hitman. And it didn't age well.
Well, and can I interject something here? So I've alluded to it before. I'm kind of going through, I wouldn't say similar, but I'm going through a divorce at the moment. And it's very fresh and very new. I've said some things, not doing anything, but there, when you're angry, you say some things. Sure. I'm going to say that because divorce, and depending on what the reasons are for divorce, you could be fueling some anger. So people say things. I get that. You can hear me over here snickering. But
this is Charlie saying it. This is not her saying it. Let's go to the clip.
Fair to say during the year or so leading up to Mr. Markel's murder that your brother did not like him?
I think that's fair to say.
Did your brother joke about hiring a hitman to kill Dan Markel?
He did make that joke.
What was the joke specifically?
My brother had bought me a TV as a divorce present, and he would make the joke that the TV was cheaper than hiring a hitman.
Did you ever tell Jeffrey Lacasse about that joke?
I may have mentioned that joke to Jeff Lacasse.
Who is that?
Jeff Lacasse was someone that I dated after Danny and I got divorced.
Had he met your parents?
I think he may have met them once. but not in any kind of formal way. Just my parents were visiting and he might have said hi, something like that.
Did your parents express any opinion about him, whether they liked him or not?
I don't remember them really taking notice of him.
Do you remember sending a text back on May 28th of 2014 that saying, quote, "My parents are not into him," referring to Jeff?
I don't remember sending that text.
On the morning of the murder, did you have an appointment at your residence on Aqua Ridge?
I did.
What was the nature of that appointment?
I had an appointment with the Geek Squad. There were some vertical lines on the TV. I didn't know if maybe one of my kids had tapped it or touched it, but it wasn't working. And so I had an appointment and they were scheduled to come sometime between 8 and 12.
And was that the TV that was the same TV that your brother joked he got you as a divorce present because
It was
cheaper than hiring a hitman?
Yes.
The irony on that, I don't think it has anything to do with the murder. I just think the irony is priceless.
I need some clarification on something. Maybe you can help me with this.
Mm-hmm.
And both of you, Tony and Todd. So in divorce, are there gifts? Do you register somewhere? Because she's mentioning she got a TV as a divorce gift.
Oh.
Where do I sign up for this shit?
Yeah, I don't think.
Is there a registry online somewhere?
I can't say I've ever gotten divorce gifts.
This is news to me.
Yeah.
Somebody fill me in the comments, would you?
I don't think it's a super common thing that that divorce gifts are given out. But the irony I just find. It's undeniable. They had dinner, and as you do when you're at a nice restaurant, you just projectile vomit at the table. Wendy did, and it was when Charlie was having a celebratory dinner after Dan died. Let's hear about that.
Did you go to a dinner after the murder of Dan Markel in which you vomited at the table?
It was several weeks until I felt ready to leave my apartment. I was very, very scared.
So that happened?
It did happen.
Okay. And that was in a restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm. It was at a restaurant.
Who was present at that dinner?
It was my brother and me.
And where was the dinner? South Florida or here?
It was South Florida.
Okay. And you said it was several weeks after the murder?
I believe so.
Had you ever heard Charlie, your brother, refer to that dinner as a celebratory dinner?
Only in previous trials, but never to me personally.
Did you hear him say it the night that you had the dinner or after that?
No.
That you threw up at the celebration?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a weird reaction to have.
It is.
Unless you're, physically ill. Like there's something wrong. You have a bug. You got to this, you got to that. It's weird to be going to a celebratory dinner for the death of your ex-husband, the father of your kids.
It almost has a Corey Richins feel to it because didn't she have a big party?
Yeah, the next day.
Yeah, correct. That's what that conjures up in my brain.
Yeah. It's how narcissists operate.
Yeah.
The TV repairman, like we said, that arrived the same time Dan was killed, which is just the irony is insane. Wendy, her actions that day were a little weird too. And keep in mind, this is not a trial of Wendy Adelson. This is a trial of Donna Adelson. But the actions one takes when you're, seeing a bunch of police outside of the home of your ex, where your kids are supposed to be and all of that, let's take a look at that.
Do you remember the time frame that the repairman was at your house on the morning of the murder?
I I remember more or less. I feel like he was supposed to come sometime between 8 and 12, and he came on the early side. Because I just remember being surprised and trying to get dressed really fast.
Okay. And Dan Markel was killed between 8 and 12, right?
He was.
That now. Who paid the repairman that came to your house?
I think he was under contract. So I don't have a strong memory of that, but I don't remember paying him. It's possible that I did.
I want to ask you a few more questions about Mr. Lacasse. You said you might have mentioned the joke to him about TV's cheaper than a hitman. Did you ever use the term TV as code for the murder in any context?
No.
Did you ever hear your mom do that other than the recordings in this case?
No.
So she didn't talk to you about the TV?
No.
Did you see Mr. Lacasse? And you said that was somebody that you had been dating around the time of the murder. Is that right?
We had broken up just before that week that Danny was killed.
All right. Did you have an occasion to see him on July 13th of 2014? So just about a week before the murder at your residence.
I don't remember him being at my residence, but I do remember seeing him around that time.
Okay. And on July 13th, 2014, do you remember asking to share something in confidence with Mr. Lacasse?
I don't remember doing that.
Did you tell Mr. Lacasse in the context of if something were to happen to Danny, I could move back to Miami? Did you tell Lacasse that regarding the relocation battle in the summer of 2013, Charlie had, seriously, not as a joke, explored all options to resolve the problem, including hiring a hitman?
I did not have that conversation with Jeff Lacasse.
Uh-oh. And I think you said the week before, but wasn't it actually about, I think it was 4 days before the murder, you sent an email to Mr. Lacasse? You remember that email bump in the road?
I remember telling him I didn't want to have contact with him anymore. I don't remember exactly what date I sent it, but whatever date Sunday or Monday of that week would have been around when I sent it.
Does this refresh your memory at all?
It does.
Okay. And so you weren't officially breaking up with him so much as asking for a certain period of time without contact. Is that right?
That sounds right.
Okay. And then your plan was to reach back out to him and figure things out one way or the other?
I mean, I think I was breaking up with him, but I have a strong aversion to conflict. So this was probably my way of not breaking up with him without breaking up with him.
Okay.
You have a strong aversion. I wonder why that
back
is.
to the day of the murder. We know about the TV repairman left about, did you say about 9?
The truth is I don't really remember, but something like 9 or 10.
Definitely before 10 or by 10?
Yes, that's my best memory.
All right. Where did you go after the TV? Where was the next place you went after the TV repairman left?
So I was home, I think, for a couple of hours first. I was doing a little bit of work. I was talking to some friends. I think I ate breakfast. And then I left probably close to noon or a little bit after noon. I was meeting 2 friends who I would frequently meet on a Friday to have lunch with. And so I went to run a few quick errands and then meet them for lunch.
And on your way to meet the friends, did you have an occasion to go down Trescott?
I was trying to turn down Trescott. That's where I used to turn and take just the road I was used to. But there was yellow tape up. And so when I tried to turn, I couldn't turn. So I made a 3-point turn and
She's getting a little
kept
nervous.
going on Centerville.
She has hit
So
the
you
mic with her
encountered a
hand.
police roadblock at that location.
Yes.
Okay. Couldn't go any further because there was a police car and some yellow tape, right?
Right.
And that was, you were able to see that from the intersection there, or you actually turned onto Trescott?
I tried to turn and then I couldn't go through. So I turned around and kept going.
How far down Trescott did you proceed before you turned around?
Just until the tape.
Okay.
Just until the tape. You didn't think maybe I should call my ex-husband. Maybe I should figure out what the hell's going on. Let's talk to Charlie.
Yeah.
For 18
Somebody
minutes
knows
about all of this. She admitted that she had an 18-minute phone call with Charlie at 9:30 a.m. right there in the murder window. Let's take a look at that.
On the morning of the murder?
I did.
And does an 18-minute conversation at 9:30 a.m. that day sound correct?
It does.
Do you remember the nature of that conversation?
I do. I didn't purchase the TV, so I didn't know how much the TV cost. And so I called him to find out if it made more sense to get the TV repaired or buy a new TV, because I didn't know what the delta was there.
Okay. Can you tell the jury one way or the other for sure whether you mentioned Dan Markel's travel plans to Charlie during that 18-minute phone call?
I can't say for sure, but I don't see why I would have brought it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot that happened that morning, and a lot that Wendy doesn't remember, and a lot that just looks really icky, the stuff that she does remember. And what looks even ickier, I guess, would be the fact that your kid's dad is murdered. And then you decide, you know what? You know, right after they're trying to cope with this and, you know, remember their dad and have fond memories and think of the good times, because there was no history of abuse here. There was nothing bad about Dan Markel. There's no like, oh, we got to rescue these children. No, the monster here are the Adelsons. Those are the monsters in this case. Mm-hmm. And what do? Well, let's change your last name. Let's change your name that you were given now back to Adelson. And it gets even worse. Oh, your dad who just died? We're not going to take you to the funeral.
To me, that feels like the biggest violation of all. I mean, the whole thing is a violation. Don't get me wrong. But once it's happened, that is a huge violation for these kids. Huge.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
And did you change your children's names after Dan Markel was killed?
About a year after I did.
In what way did you change their names?
I changed their last name and I changed my older son's middle name.
Okay. And you changed their last name from Markel to what?
To mine.
Adelson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start by asking you about this email dated July 3rd, 2014. What is this?
This is it looks like an electronic invitation for my dad's 70th birthday.
An Evite, right?
Yes.
And who sent the invitation to you?
Well, it looks like it's through the postmark.
I mean, who sent the party invitations out?
I don't remember if I helped with the Evite or if my mom did it. So I don't know if I sent it to myself or if it's from my mom.
Would you have sent it to yourself?
I am a little better with tech stuff than my parents, so I might have helped them put together an Evite.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Who does it say is the host of the party?
Oh, my mom's the host. You asked who sent the email, and I didn't remember. So my mom is the host of the party for my dad.
And to whom is the party invitation sent?
It's sent to me and my two children.
Okay. And this was sent on July 3rd, 2014, before the murder, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then back up just a little bit here. This email, do you recognize this one? Are you able to read it okay on your screen?
I can read it okay.
All right. Who sent this email?
This is from, it says my mom, but it says Harvey Adelson. So again, I don't know which parent it's from.
Okay. if it was from Harvey Adelson, would he say Lincoln is going to be attending Shabbat with his grandpa, Harvey Adelson?
I mean, it seems more likely somebody else would have written with his grandpa, but I don't know. I kind of write those things sometimes, like Lincoln will attend something with his mom and say my name. I know it's awkward to say it in the third person, but I don't think it's impossible.
Okay. But this reference to Lincoln Adelson did happen prior to the legal name change, correct?
Yes. No, I from the beginning, I was scared when I put them in school. And so I didn't legally change their name until a year after, but I was socially using my name for them.
And did that start as soon as their dad was killed?
No, it started when I had to register them for school.
And your mom helped with the registrations as well, didn't she?
I think I did the registrations myself.
What about here for flag football? Did your mom assist with that?
It looks like she did. There were some after-school activities.
Okay. And she registered your child under the last name Adelson, right?
Yes.
Where was Dan Markel buried?
In Toronto.
Were you or your children in attendance at his funeral?
No.
That makes me sick. That makes me absolutely sick. I don't understand that.
Well, they won their battle.
Well,
They don't have empathy. They got what they wanted.
Yeah, but they have an appearance to put on at this point because
I think they were riding high. I think they thought, because at that point in time, nobody was really the wiser at that moment. Nobody's arrested yet. Nobody's going after this person or that person at that moment. I think they were kind of high on their horse, honestly, where they thought, oh, okay. And when you think when you're too overconfident in yourself, that's when you start screwing things up. And that's, I think, what happened. I found this interesting because, the enmeshed family here that we've talked about, which they certainly have been. And Wendy is a extremely damaged individual, as you can tell from mom over the years. I'm not saying she did any. I don't know that. I, honest to God, don't know that she knew that her family killed Dan Markel. I think she could have had her head in the sand or have been so conditioned to just be used to their insanity and the things they spew out that it was just more stuff. Mm-hmm. But I look at Wendy, if that's your mother, if that's the person that raised you, and I don't say this with hate or angst, you're going to be damaged. Anybody who grew up with that as mom is going to be damaged. Charlie's damaged. Everyone's damaged because of mom. So I think you got Wendy, just as you can tell here, and how extremely bizarrely immature she is on so many facets of life at this stage in the game, really just shows her utter dependence, codependence, if you will, which would take us back to the enmeshment of the family. But apparently, no contact since 2023. That's interesting. Let's look at this.
When was the last time you spoke to your mother, Donna Adelson, as we sit here today?
November of 2023.
Okay. And so she hasn't given you any information or advice about how to testify in court, has she?
Ma'am. No.
What about, you did offer testimony in November of 2023 as well, right, on a related case?
Yes,
Okay.
October.
And did your mom, when you spoke to her in November of 2023, offer you any advice or thoughts about how you should act or behave or what you should say in court?
Yes.
She did.
She did.
And what was that?
I can't tell you I remember exactly, but she was hoping I would be supportive of my brother.
Okay. And do you know what her thoughts were afterwards?
I do.
Okay. And what were they?
She was devastated.
She didn't feel you were supportive.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other stuff that was going on wasn't a deal breaker, but now we hit that line. Now we found that place where, okay, that was a bridge too far.
Well, and
I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, well, this is what happens when you're growing up in that sort of chaos. There is no, the goalposts are always moving, and they're moving at the behest of the matriarch or the big narcissist that's controlling the game.
Yeah.
So this, again, it's all, this is why she's not so shocked by half of this stuff in court. This is normal. This is the Adelsons. This is life.
Well, and thank you for bringing that up, because I'm just sitting here like, I can't believe she's putting up with this. Well, again, you're right. This is what she's used to. And it's so easy to just gloss over stuff instead of fighting it. Mm-hmm. Because you're just used to it. It's what you've known for X amount of years.
And she's averse to confrontation. We just heard that from her own words. So
conflict avoidance.
And why is that? Because I'm sure if you ever confronted Donna in any of the years before the murder on anything, it wouldn't have ended well in your favor. It would have been heartache. It would have been headache. It would have been manipulation. It would have been guilt tripping. It would have been every trick in the narcissistic mother's playbook of trying to get what she wanted. And at some point you just go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to tell you shit. And, you know, I feel like maybe she finally got there after murder. But sometimes it takes that far for someone to realize just how insane their family dynamics are. Wendy was also very, I think, revealing in that police interview early on. This is really what put the whole damn thing into motion. She's going to talk about it here.
Why did you tell investigator Isom in your law enforcement interview that you were worried the police, or you were worried, I guess, in the police car on the way to be interviewed, that you might be considered a suspect?
Because I couldn't think of anything bad going on in his life other than the divorce. And frequently the ex-wife is a suspect.
Were you treated as a suspect?
I was not.
But you mentioned 9 times in your law enforcement interview being a suspect. Didn't you?
I did, yes.
When you were approached at the restaurant, you weren't yet told that this was a shooting, were you?
I was not.
You were only told something happened with your ex-husband.
I don't even know if I was told that. I was very scared something happened to my kids, and that's why law enforcement was there, and they wouldn't tell me what was going on.
But they did reassure you that the kids were fine. You
They told me
that?
that law enforcement officers were with the children, which terrified me because I didn't know why my children would need law enforcement officers.
So you didn't know what this was about at all when you were in the police car?
In the car, they told me.
Okay. In the car, they told you what?
They said, your ex-husband has been shot.
Okay. So that you learned that information prior to getting into the interview room?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember allowing law enforcement to take possession of your computer in that interview?
I told law enforcement to search my phone, search my computer, search my house, search my car. I was trying to be helpful.
Do you remember saying that it was okay for them to take the computer and keep it even though you had work things on there because you didn't think you would be going back to work?
I remember thinking it wasn't important. I couldn't imagine my life fell apart.
But you didn't go back to work, did you, at FSU?
I did actually go back, not physically present, but I was still on the FSU payroll until December of that year.
Okay. In that interview with law enforcement, did you suggest that your parents are people who may have been angry enough to kill Dan Markel?
I suggested a lot of people who could have been angry enough to kill Danny.
And were some of the people my parents?
Yes.
But you said in the interview that you didn't think they were capable of it, didn't you?
I did.
If your mom wasn't capable of it, did she have anyone that she could enlist to assist her?
I don't know.
What was your first thought when you were asked if anyone might have murdered Dan Markel for your benefit?
I thought maybe a crazed friend or a former student.
It's not what you said, though, is it?
I don't remember exactly what I said first.
Fuck you,
You said Charlie, right?
If that's what I said, then you have it there. But I don't remember who I listed first.
Okay.
It doesn't
Can you
matter
at
if
least
you
tell the
remember,
jury
Wendy.
You definitely did say Charlie as one of those people?
I did.
Do you remember saying, if somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law?
Yes.
And Isom says, regardless of who it is. And do you recall your answer?
I do recall my answer.
What was
Okay.
that?
I think I was hoping it wasn't anyone in my family. And so that idea that it was someone in my family gave me pause.
All right, but that wasn't your answer, was it?
I don't remember word for word what I
Okay.
said, but that was my sentiment at the time.
Was your answer for court and counsel, this is law enforcement interview page 122, lines 7 through 12. If somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Question, regardless of who it is. Answer, it would be different if I thought it were my brother.
Oh, she brought the receipts.
And that's where the wheels started moving. So Wendy did a bang-up job today on the stand. Her brother, not Charlie, also took the stand, and I think we're going to be taking a look at some of those pieces tomorrow on that, because I caught a little bit of it, right? It's going on like literally as we're recording this, and I caught a few minutes of that and was like, I was on my porch upstairs. I take a little break in the afternoon for 10 minutes. I know. I do 10 minutes. I have a energy bar, and I usually smoke a little, and relax for a moment. And I was watching watching that, and I think my neighbors heard me go, "Oh!"
They just thought it was another day, though.
They probably did, but I can be vocal. But I'm like, I was pretty vocal. I was like, whoa! It was like big moments of things he was saying. I'm like, well, she's going to prison forever.
Right.
He said he remembers. He remembers all the oddities of the Adelsons. He remembers all the weird conversations, and Donna suddenly shutting down conversations when it talked about Dan Markel and death and, a hitman and all those sort of things. And she was just, let's keep going down my road. Let's keep talking about the things I want to do and the way I want to do it. And it's an interesting one, but bravo to him for calling out his monster family. So yeah, that's the latest on the Adelsons. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on Wendy's testimony today. I think a lot of us are really interested in it. Do you think she knew about the murder? That's the question. So let us know in the comments. Do you think she was? There's a lot of ways of looking at it. Do you think she knew about it before it happened? I think that's the biggest question. That her family was involved before it happened, and then was she aware of it after it happened that her family was involved in it? I feel like she started to really have a sickening feeling that it was, considering she vomited at dinner.
Yeah.
And I think the realization came. But did she know more before? And because she doesn't like confrontation, avoided any sort of confrontation that would have prevented the father of her children from being murdered. Tell me in the comments section what your thoughts are there on YouTube. Just search Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski if you're not already there. Make that same search wherever you're downloading podcasts to find us there as well. Until next time, for Todd, for Stacy, and myself, we will talk again real soon.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Brueski and the Hidden Killers podcast.